I would like to say Namaste, Vanakkam, Womanjeka, and introduce my friend, collaborator, and inspiration, Raymond Blanco, who's, yes? As was suggested previously, we're going to clap with our hands and our bums. Could we see that again, please? Keep working on that, people. So, Raymond Blanco's heritage blends Yadagana from Northern Peninsula area Cape York and Erup Island of Eastern Zenat Kes. He is a director, a choreographer, movement director, and consultant in the artistic, creative, and management portfolios. In 2024, Raymond has worked on a choreographic residency with Australasian Dance Collective as part of their first collective residency, with the Cassowary Coast Regional Council in Innisfail, on the RAP Indigenous Art Fair, with Jute Theatre on the remount of Back on Track, and the Creative Development Collaboration for Asia TOPA 2025. Since 1984, we're not finished, he has an illustrious career. Illustrious professional career which started as a commercial dancer and performer with various companies such as the Tony Bartuccio Dancers, Dancing Days, ABC Television, special soloist in the Opera Australia Ballet, I did not know that, in the world premiere of Voss and Death in Venice. Raymond was gifted the position of Artistic Director of Australia's First Nations dance company, and with the dancers, revisioned the Aboriginal Islander Dance Theatre into AIDT, the company. We would not have a First Nations art scene today without Raymond. Sorry, that wasn't in the bio, but I thought that's something we should all know. He's saying to me, I hate this. I said, I'm sorry, Raymond, I have to introduce you. A professional touring company founded in 1989, AIDT was an elite ensemble of young Indigenous dancers and choreographers, and Raymond has been instrumental in the development of both form and canon of contemporary First Nations dance in Australia, with a contribution spanning 4 decades. I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands that we're on, the Bunurong and the Wurundjeri people, and pay my respects to their elders past and present, and also all of the elders that are here today, and including you, Raymond. You're not an elder, but I know you don't like it. Senior? No?
Senior's good.
Okay, senior. All right, we're going with senior.
It's a nice word, 60s, you know. So now I guess I'll introduce Dr. Priya Srinivasan. See, that's why we all call you Priya. Srinivasan is an award-winning performer, choreographer, and writer who co-founded and leads Sangam, a transformative cultural platform addressing inequity in the arts in Naarm. Since 2019, Sangam has thrived under her guidance, showcasing hundreds of South Asian creatives towards self-representation and artistic excellence on Australia's funded stages. Priya's work emphasises feminist decolonisation. See, that's the why I don't like saying that. Decolonisation. Spotlighting minority women's stories and First Nations exchanges through experimental dance and music. She has a PhD in performance studies and has published an award-winning book, Indian Dance as Transnational Labour, 2012, which is taught worldwide. As a choreographer and director, her acclaimed intercultural collaborative pieces have graced stages, museums, site-specific locations worldwide, from the US, China, Europe, India to Australia. Her groundbreaking work, bringing research into practice, has shifted notions of what counts as contemporary art in Australia. Yeah. That's why we're working together. Her most recent acclaimed interdisciplinary, intergenerational performance with Usra, Vijay and Philippa Rothfield, the Durga Chronicles won a Green Award last year. Agam, a collaboration with Hari Sivanesan and the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra, resulted in an unprecedented, highly successful, large-scale intercultural performance at the Sydney Maya Music Bowl. Sangam Labs Leadership Exchange in Bengaluru brought together intersectional, emerging and established artistic leaders and organisations between India and Australia. With the support of Global Victoria, the trading arm of the Victorian Government, Priya is the inaugural recipient of the Asia Pacific Impact Award from Creative Australia 24. We are the co-directors of Bunyi Bunyi Bumbi, a new collaboration with co-devisors my nephew, Wanaga Blanco, Alfira O'Sullivan and Murtala, who are here as well somewhere in the audience. Oh, there. Produced by Backdance.
So basically, Raymond would like to be done now. We've said what we've had to say. See you. No. Raymond disagreed. We're going to talk a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So how about we share something about how we met and the first time that we met. I thought you looked like my relatives and cousins back in India.
And my grandmother used to have a crush on Kamal. She always said that's your uncle.
So it was really interesting that we found these kinship ties and familial connections even before we started anything.
Absolutely. And the fact that we're working on family and discovering family is really important, because a few years ago I decided I'd retired and didn't want to do this anymore. And I decided to go home and discover family again, because that's very tight to me. And what I've seen recently is families being torn apart by stuff. So it was very important for me to find my family, and although I know my immediate family, it was like that connection to the Philippines, to Asia, to Jamaica, to all of the bloods that run through me. So when this work came up, it was like, this is perfectly what I'm doing now, why not put it on stage? I didn't think I'd be dancing again at 64, but you know, we're gonna do it.
So Raymond did resist dancing in the first development that we had with the labs that Asia TOPA invited us to do last June. And slowly we convinced him that it was really important that people get to see him dance in this work. So again, sorry, this is a plug now for the show, which is going to be premiering in February 2025. You will get to see Raymond Blanco dance for the first time in Melbourne.
You can look at Google or anything, but there is nothing. All my students say, where's your work? Like, my stuff is before all that technology stuff. So it really comes from the heart and the soul and the spirit. It's not all that technology bullshit.
So it's really been amazing sharing with Raymond some questions that I've had around kinship, which is what he brought up when he said, this is the work I want to do, is about kinship and family and what constitutes family. And something I've been really interested in is, how is it that the ties in Asia to so-called Australia existed long ago, long before the colonial period, and how we are actually all kinfolk. And this is perhaps the nature of the work that we're doing, which brings the ties that we've already had, not as new, but as something that has always existed. How are we connected? Through blood, through song, through dance and story, and memories of a different kind that tie us together. And I suppose this is something that we've been talking about with your heritage, and also with Alfira and Murtala's background in Achinese Islamic traditions of body percussion.
Yes. We started with the dance, and what do we move? How do we move differently and stuff? So it was body percussion at first, and in Torres Strait Islands there is a bit of body percussion, so I thought, pick that up straight away, let's run with that. And from there it just grew. We went through the body percussion, we went through Aboriginal dance, we went through vibrations, we went through the earth, and now it's like we don't even have to talk to each other anymore. The vibrations we're feeling as human beings in live performance, in live rehearsal, is so enriching. It's just, I mean, if we didn't have an Asia TOPA to open in next year, we'd still do it anyway. Because it's a blood, it's a life-giving force. Our art and our culture, it just runs through our body. And if the spirit says dance, you have no option but to dance.
Exactly. Thank you for saying that. And also your nephew, Wanaga Blanco, who used to be part of Bangara and really has become a part of this family and the work that we're building, his practice in Torres Strait Islander rhythms and drums have also become really key, would you say, to the development that we've been having and the connections we're finding through rhythms that actually speak beyond time, but somehow connect us in these deep ways.
Absolutely. You said earlier tonight, it's like something about the inner landscape and the outer landscape. It's exactly it. It's like we're trying to rediscover who we are in this modern time, in this crazy time, and find our place in this fake, imaginative, crazy world that we live in. So yeah, it really is finding peace with yourself and finding out who you are and where you fit, really.
And I think also for us, we've been really interested in questions of how are the connections forming in relationship to what we're thinking about the name, because we came up with the title of Bunyi Bunyi Bumi, which literally translates to sounds of the earth. And what we're interested in is asking what happens when humans are connecting and syncopating to the sounds of the earth mother, and what happens when we're not.
Yeah, Bung actually had a really beautiful story he shared with us when we first started creating it. He happened to be in our chair at the time, 20 years ago, when we lost all those people. And that was just really touching, how he had this body rhythm of moving the bodies, getting rid of the bodies, and it became almost like a dance. 1, 2, 3, lift and throw. 1, 2, 3, lift and throw. So, I mean, it has that poignancy, but again, it's like, why didn't they watch the birds fly into the mountain? Why didn't they follow the cows up the mountains? And why did they go out into their water and pick up the fish? You know, the water's gone. What's happening? Something big's coming. So, yeah, what happens when you don't listen to Earth or your spirit and you go the other way? Well, I think most of us would have experienced that somewhere along the line, whether it's as large as Aceh or as small as, you know, your cousins down the road or whatever. But you brought something up beautifully too, because it encompasses food as well, and how we eat and we share foods and stuff like that as well. When you welcomed us to Dandenong earlier this year.